So you want a supplement brand, you want a recurring business that pays you while you sleep with high margins that can be scaled easily without much experience or money to get started. You want to have your store, your ads, your product, everything ready so you can get started today. Well, you're in luck because today I'm going to teach you the simplest, easiest, fastest, and most successful way to start a supplement brand right now. Look, I'm going to be honest, I'm probably one of the most qualified people in the world to be teaching you this today. I've done well over $1 million in sales with my own supplement brand, working less than 4 hours a week. I went from 0 to 150K in under 4 months with a branded dropshipping store from 0, and now that brand does almost 2 million a year. I've done over 10 million in e-com sales. I'm not some 20-year-old who just got lucky or so success once. I've been in the game for over 10 years, and I still run my own brands today. I have multiple students who've made 7 figures, and many more who are making 10K plus a month. I've been building brands since 2015. I built hundreds of stores. I've seen all of the trends. Today, I'm going to show you exactly how to start and scale a supplement brand and how you can start with less than $100. Because I've built multiple supplement brands, I've had hundreds of people asking for help on how all of this works, even offering to pay me tens of thousands of dollars. Because I wish someone made this video for me when I was first getting started 10 years ago. I'm going to give this information away completely for free. And I'm going to be honest, the reason I'm making this video is because when I was getting started, you couldn't start with $0 like you can today. I was in 30K consumer debt. I survived on literally $250 a month, working multiple jobs, washing dishes, driving Ubers, gardening, caring for my family members. I even had to find investors to get started because there wasn't the information and tools available like the ones I'm going to show you in this video. You see, back in 2015, bro, it took me 2 years before I even got my first sale. Like from there, my weekends spent traveling across the UK, attending sports events to hand out free product samples and gather feedback. But luckily, because I was building a supplement brand, a loyal subscription base formed and the recurring revenue meant that the business could then start to scale without me. Here's the thing, I didn't know how to build a scalable supplement brand because I thought success just means making sales. Like I worked every hour in the business, answering support, marketing, packing orders. Like I made every single possible mistake. So I'm making this video to make sure that no one has to go through what I went through. Little did I know it at the time, but building a supplement brand is probably the most underrated opportunity that no one knows about. And before everyone figures it out, there's a reason why supplement brands are exploding right now. I like brands like AG1, Obvi, Huel, Ollie, like the list goes on. And the reason why it's probably the best business to start is because you've got high margins, recurring revenue, scalability. It's literally an asset that can be built and exited for tens of millions of dollars. Before we get into it, if you want direct help and support to start and scale your own supplement brand, to start generating sales in the first 30 days, click the link, the first link in the description, and book a call with me. In this video, I'm going to lay out the 5 critical steps to guarantee that you're successful. If you skip any of these steps, you will not see success. I haven't seen anyone else talk about these online before, so make sure you stick around to the end. Here's the 5 steps. Number 1, what do I sell? What I'm about to show you is how to create your own reliable money printer. Too many people think that finding a winning product is out of their control, and it's not their fault. The gurus you see online teach you to use special ads or special software that scrapes the internet for winning products, but they're wrong. What you don't see is that these gurus are using you as testing subjects. They take their students' successes, market those products as their own, and claim the results as their own success. But I'm going to teach you how to sell anything to anyone and create your own winning product with almost a 100% success rate. It's not about what to sell. It's about picking and positioning a product that meets market demand. Because the reality is, every single product is a potential $1 million product. You just don't know how to sell it yet. For example, look between your legs. Right now, there's a $1 million product and you probably don't even know about it. And that product is a zipper brand called YKK. These guys took ordinary zippers and made billions by positioning them as the best option in a crowded market. They didn't create anything new. They just packaged and marketed a basic product better than anyone else. And this is what I teach you to do. So get off this winning product excuse train as to why you're not starting or seeing results. Every product is a potential $1 million brand. You don't need to reinvent the wheel. Just listen to what I'm telling you to do. Your scarcity mindset needs to stop today. You see, thinking that there isn't enough money to go around and everything's saturated and you're just late to the party, like this is a lie. So with that being said, turn off your fucking notifications, delete your Netflix subscription, get comfortable, grab a pen and paper, just leave your excuses at the door and let's get to finding your winning product. Okay, so here's how to find a winning product. You need 3 keys to build a successful successful $1 million brand? Number one is you must have a high margin. I'm talking minimum 65%. Number two is you need to have and solve a very high pain point. And three is you must have a deep understanding of your consumer. If this is your first time, make yourself a niche. Like pick something that you struggle with or something that you would or do use yourself and get value from. And here's how to action having a deep understanding of your customer and also the high pain point to make money. What you want ideally is customers selling to customers. So you're using photos and videos of customers with the product. You're using photos and videos of customers and their testimonials. You're going through your competitor analysis. So use tools like ChatGPT, SimilarWeb, CaloData, Facebook Ads Library, TikTok, the Instagram feed. It doesn't really matter. You need to understand what's going on in your market. And the second part of this is, who do I sell to? Now, this is incredibly important, and it's all about market research and entry. So the initial questions I want you to think is, do I need to make or invent my own product? What's going to be my competitive moat? So what's going to differentiate you from the competition? And now that you know how to find a winning product and where to find it, you need to understand what you're selling and who you're selling it to. And once you have this information, you can create a strategic point of differentiation. But first, we need to research our product for an in-depth, thorough understanding. So here's how to do the customer persona mapping. So you want to first start with who. Who exactly are you selling to? And make this very specific to your product. So as I said, you need to know more about these people than they know about themselves. This is how you're able to pitch and sell anything to anyone. So really define them. And I don't mean just surface level, men between 30 and 60. Like get hyper specific, get hyper niche. And we really want to dig way past, like talking 2, 3, 4 levels deep past the surface level problem that you think. So we want to understand their current situation and their desired situation. And what we're doing is we're positioning our product as the ultimate solution to bridge that gap. So we first need to look into their wants and their desires. And this is linked very closely to their pain points. So what is the big problem? What keeps them up at night? What's agitating them? Remember, we're paid in direct proportion to the level of the pain point or problem that we solve. So first we focus on what is their desire? What is this desired situation? Then we're looking at their pain point. The pain point is the most important thing. And I'd like to encapsulate this as your hero problem. This is the big problem. This is the thing that your product's going to solve. And we really need to understand, okay, yes, we get understand the problem, but how does this manifest in their life? How are we able to agitate and kick their bruised knee and really get them in that emotional state where they're ready to buy? So really listing out and understanding, okay, this is the problem, but how does it manifest? And generally you will find it links back to your 3 or your just eternal markets, which are health, wealth, and relationships. This is at its core what it is, but the manifestation of the problem is different. But we need to be able, in thorough detail, map this out and understand it. We then look at how this actually impacts them. So what is it they hate about this situation? What are the problems that it throws in? How are they talking about it? How are they expressing it? How is it manifesting in their life? What is the story that they tell themselves around they're sick of this, or they're tired of this, or this is really impacting their ability to focus or lock in or do the work, or they can't sleep? Look through testimonials and case studies from competitors, read their reviews if there's any current situations where they were and where they are now and how this helped. Perfect, that's the goal you're looking for. We also need to look at what are the features that are important to them as well. So is it a specific ingredient? Is it a specific delivery mechanism that makes things more convenient? It's always time, quality, or cost. The quality side of things is of course important with supplements because this is something they're putting directly into their body. So being able to explain that and make customers feel comfortable that this is something that's safe, it's reliable, other people are getting benefits from it and using it. Then we link this to the benefits of the product, as opposed to going straight in with features and it has this. Link it to the benefits, okay? Always sell with the benefits, but we need to understand, of course, our product, what it is, how it works, what the physiological mechanisms are of all of the ingredients, and then, of course, what's going to make our product different? How are we going to create a protective moat around this product or brand or idea that's going to separate us from everyone else? The other side of things, which I really want you to get into, because we're talking about selling to ourselves, is doing a bit of an internal audit. So what is it that you use or spend money on? Like, where do you spend a disproportionate amount of money on every month if you're using supplements? Like, look at what you're already buying, because there's clues here. Identify problems that you're facing or that you notice in your day-to-day life. Just start to think, what frustrates you? What annoys you? What are you sick of? What are you complaining about all of the time? If you can't think of anything, ask your friends, ask your family, ask what supplements they're buying, why they use them, do they work, how can they prove they work, what have they bought in the past, or why did they stop using them? Like, really just ask what problems they're facing and which supplements are solving these issues, because this will give you a really good heading. Then you can do or layer this with deep internet research, so you can leverage AI to understand the product's function, the benefits, the science, or any alternative uses. Use Reddit, a great resource for real user experiences. You can use resources like the GigaBrain Amazon.com, and we're basically just looking for what are people already using and getting value from? What are the problems that they're trying to solve? What have they tried before? And then find competitors who are already active in this market, but look for the big ones, okay, to draw inspiration, because it's safe to say that if it's working for these guys, there's a high likelihood you can draw from that success, but make it your own. So use Amazon, for example, like what's already commoditized, what is the overall consumer sentiment, like how are they feeling? Has it got good reviews? Look at the bad reviews. Is there any room for improvement that you can piggyback on? Understand existing options, what else is out there, and of course just study, get in the e-com world, okay, be immersed in this. Study successful e-com brands, look at TikTok trends for creative or marketing angles. Calodata is really good for that. Look at the reviews, read the comments, analyze their offers, get in their email list, get in their ecosystem, just create a separate like burner email and just look at how everything's structured. Again, you can come back to this for later reference. Study their Facebook ad campaigns. We're not copying brands, we're searching for inspiration. We need a unique market entry strategy, and we do that through a strategic point of differentiation, which we're now going to look at how we develop. So we're looking for a strategic point of differentiation, and here's how I want you to do that. So first and foremost, we start with our competitor analysis. So we look at the top 2 or 3 industry leaders. We then look at direct competitors. Again, just the top couple of ones in there. They don't necessarily have to be big brands, but go into that ads library, make sure they're running ads. They've been doing it for quite a while as well, so it's not just like a pop-up drop shipping store. And then try and find a competitor on Amazon, for example. Now, we really want to study these brands because we want to be able to draw inspiration from what's already working, but of course, remember, we're making it our own. So look at the brand name, get the URL noted, look which niche they're operating in, who are they selling to, what's the brand, what's the tone of voice, which angles are they coming at it from. Study their website layout as well. Where they're running traffic to? Is it to a landing page? What's their homepage look like? Do they have an about us? Are they using a founder story? Look at their offers on the front end and on the back end once you're in your email ecosystem. Look at what bonuses, how are they getting your email, like what's the offer on the front end? Do they have any strategic upsells? What are they, or how are they positioning their product as different? And then go through the reviews as well. So like the customer facing side of things, look at the 1-star reviews, analyze the 5-star reviews, look at the testimonials. What are they like? What are they not like? How are the customers describing themselves? Just really get into the ecosystem, study their ads, look at their TikTok ads, go in their Google ads as well. Just try and draw some sort of inspiration and look for where the gaps are or what you think you can do better, and just get in their email system, sign up, get in their pop-up, okay? You could even buy products from them if they really wanted, and just get in that flow and understand how are they taking strangers and converting them into customers, and once they have customers, how do they then retain them? Because you can draw inspiration from this. And the reason I'm telling you this is because I violated this rule, and it cost me like 2 years of my life to get my first sale. So if you choose to ignore this, it's literally on you. Like, I hate it when people give you high-level ideas without action. So let me break this down like right now so you can directly copy me. And let's use my own brand, for example. It has high margin, 65%. We solve a very high pain point. We're talking about health, wellness, growth, and this is parents looking after their kids, so it's really high up the priority list. I have a deep, thorough understanding of who my customer is. And again, when I was a beginner, I violated this rule. If this is your first time, make sure you sell to yourself, that you are the niche. Do not make assumptions on what people are or aren't willing to buy. So this is why I talk about solving something you struggle with and something you would use yourself and get value from, because I didn't do this, and it took me maybe another year after launching the product, this is after 2 years of already designing it, to figure out, okay, what do people actually want? Because my assumptions were completely wrong, and I had to rebrand everything, rebuild everything, reposition based on what the customer's objections were. Then things started to go well. So never use assumptions. Now we know what the foundation for building or finding a winning supplement looks like and how to create your own. Now we're going to talk about sourcing and fulfillment. Everyone always asks me, where do I source my product? Where do I find a manufacturer? They don't even think twice about how they're going to get the product to the customer. And if you're anything like I was, you're starting with no connections, you have no idea where to find a supplier, and you think you need this perfect, unique product packaged like a fucking iPhone, like custom box, premium unboxing experience. It needs to look and feel like $1 million brand. And this is where most beginners go wrong. And I'm going to show you how to get there. But right now, we simply need to get an MVP, which is a minimal viable product. And then we're going to start generating sales. I'm going to show you exactly exactly what the roadmap is to follow to do this. So that brings me on to number 3. How do you source your product? And you have 3 options, which we've already discussed, and they all have their features and benefits and pros and cons. So let's get into them. So first and foremost, speed. This is how quickly can you get your product to market. For example, custom formulas take longer, white label options are much faster. So let's get into it. So say a custom formula is very slow, probably like 3 to 6 months. Private white labeling, it's okay, maybe like 2-3 months. Online dropshipping, instant. For quality, this is the quality of your supplement. So for example, custom formulas have a much higher quality if you choose premium ingredients, whereas white labeling, it completely depends on the manufacturer. If you go drop shipping, of course, the quality is probably not going to be as good because you're not taking part, or you're not able to kind of custom formulate or make it your own. The startup capital, which is obviously really important if you're starting from zero, it's the money you need to launch your supplement brand. Custom formulas require way more investment, probably often more than 10 to 20K. White label options through specific platforms, probably 5 to 10K, or if you use a platform and you're going to do drop shipping to start with, like Supliful, much less, probably less than $100, not much. Uniqueness, this is how you're able to differentiate your product from competitors. So custom formulas offer really high uniqueness because you've created or you've sourced the ingredients and the amounts. So very high. White label products are less unique since other brands are probably selling similar white label formulas. And of course, for a dropshipping brand, you're selling an existing product, so there's very little uniqueness, and this is why your marketing becomes really important. From the cost side of things, this is how much you need to spend to create the product. So custom formulas typically cost more upfront, of course, because you have to commit cash to inventory. Very similar with white labeling as well, but obviously you don't have to go through the process of research and development. And when it comes to dropshipping, no cost, very easy. You have a product, you send them a label, they'll ship it for you, and they will only ship it for you once you make the sale. So very low risk. Difficulty, so this is how hard is it for you to bring the products to market or to bring them to life. Custom formula, so much knowledge, so much research, so much time, so much work, whereas white labeling is simpler for beginners, of course, because it's a pre-made product. You just need to do the label, but of course you still need to commit cash to inventory. And drop shipping, of course, it's done, ready to go. So very low difficulty, very good for beginners. Now risk, so when I'm talking risk, I'm talking financial risk. So minimum order quantities are a big thing. Custom formulas often require really large minimum orders to make it worth the while for the manufacturer. And white label, sometimes lower, sometimes not, it completely depends, but it still is a lot more difficult for you, which means the risk is higher because you still have to put money in to buy the stock and warehouse the stock and fulfill the stock. Again, this is all cost and time and money and effort, whereas drop shipping, again, really easy because you don't have to commit any cash, therefore your risk is pretty much zero because you're only going to commit cash to buy the product once you've already sold it. And then of course the logistics, so this is how your products are stored and shipped and delivered to your consumers. So custom formulas mean you handle everything. You do everything end to end. If you don't have any experience, of course, this is hard because you have to bring everything together yourself and build it from the ground up. If you do white labeling, a little bit easier because the supply chain is sorted, but you still have to do the fulfillment yourself, whether it's doing it from home or getting a 3PL involved. Or if you go again with the drop shipping side of things, it's all handled for you. So much easier. So the supply and fulfillment is to kind of bring this all together. You understand the pros and cons of which path to take, but I'm going to explain exactly what you need to do to launch your product in one of those 3 options now. So if you decide to go with custom formula, you're going to need connections. You're going to need to do scientific research. You're going to have to commit cash to inventory with very high minimum order quantities because you have to make it worth it for the supplier. You also have to build a relationship with them. So you're going to need investment in time and also money. You also need to allow a large passage of time because the food industry, it runs off big orders. It's notoriously slow, hard to break into. They're probably getting like 1,000 people messaging them every day with this great big idea. So why should they listen to you? You're going to need a 3PL, or you're going to have to do all the packaging yourself at home. You've got to go through the whole label regulation side of things, make sure that's all compliant on your own. You have to source and provide the packaging, the design. You've got to look at the raw material sourcing. You've got to do all the sample testing, maybe hiring a food lawyer to make sure there's compliance involved. So you're probably going to need at least 20K minimum investment before even thinking about marketing, which is expensive, right? Because you're trying to spend more to find product market fit in probably probably an unproven market with an unproven concept. And you literally have a ticking time bomb because you're going to spend all of this money and time on making the perfect product and getting inventory, which if you can't sell immediately, it's literally going to expire. And this doesn't even factor in all the problems that are going to occur. For example, I've had everything that could possibly go wrong. Product samples that get rejected, it's not cheap, you have legal issues, there's time between samples, like it's just a bit of a nightmare. Whereas if you private label, you have all of the same problems, but you don't have the upfront cost of product research and development. So you can get away with a lot lower MOQs, or maybe using a 3PL or doing picking and packing from home. So it's a lot faster route to market. But if you online dropship, it's low risk. You can test things quickly. You don't need to think about custom formulations. All the compliance is done for you. And then the pathway for you to get to custom formula is you online dropship, you establish product market fit, then you build custom formula, you move into custom formula, but you do this in such a way where you're taking on customer feedback as opposed to you using founder assumption. This is where I went wrong. I built my home brand and product on an assumption as opposed to using real world customer data. And this cost me dearly in terms of time, effort, money. I learned this the hard way, but the whole point of this is so you don't have to go through the same process. So to bring this all together, if you're going to start with online dropshipping, what you're looking for as quickly as possible is to establish product market fit, because we want to leverage best practices and de-risk to increase the likelihood of our success. And I know what you're thinking. You all want to do custom formula. You want everything unique. You want to build a brand. So this is how we're going to do it, because we are going to get there. We're just going to do it in a more logical way, which manages risk. So here's how we're going to do it. So to start with, we pick a product, we will launch, we will test, we'll get some cash, we'll get customers, we'll get market feedback, and then we're going to make improvements to the product. We're going to buy inventory, and we're going to control our own supply chain to add your own competitive moat. So I know what you're thinking. You're probably thinking, okay, so you're telling me to drop ship an existing product with no strategic point of differentiation. So how am I going to make noise in what is probably an already crowded or competitive market? Actually, it's not that difficult. So what you need to do is we're going to be, of course, taking inspiration. We're not copying existing brands, but we're searching for inspiration. And what we're looking for is to find a unique market entry strategy and having a strategic point of differentiation, which is what we're going to develop. And here's how to do it. You have a few options. The first one is you make this about you. So this is a founder-led, mission-oriented brand. It's different to everyone else. The other side of it is who you niche down to. So this is how you can take what is quite a broad product with broad application, but you apply it to a specific subsegment of the population. Use my own brand as the perfect example. It's a pretty much generic formula. However, what I did is I went with a niche within a niche within a niche. So I went sports nutrition, then I went parents, then I went parents with kids, then I went parents with kids in sport, and then I went parents with kids in sport who have fussy eating. So product is largely similar, but I went niche. Now I'm competing with no one. I led with a founder-led brand. So I'm telling my own story, and no one can compete with your story. It's unique to you. And then if you want to, you can maybe look for some sort of a unique delivery method. For example, like selling sleep strips. If you don't have that, it doesn't really matter, because what matters is having a strong obsession over the customer and what they want and who they are. Like, you need to be able to understand them more than they know themselves. And then we go niche, we build a founder-led brand, and we build a strategic point of differentiation over exactly what they want. This is how you differentiate with a larger generic product. And this is how you create a bit of a protective moat, and you're not now competing with everyone else who's just going broad. Remember, if everyone is your customer, no one is your customer. This is so important. So now let's get into how we're going to brand it, because this is what's going to really separate you from the masses. Number 4, this is how to brand it. And this is where you really want to create a point of strategic differentiation in what is technically an already crowded market. And this is basically giving your potential customers a reason to buy from you and not from the big mainstream brands. So number 1, this is the best way to do it, is identify currently untapped niches. So you're going to target a specific demographic or a specific type of person where their needs haven't really been served or well met by existing brands. Number 2 is you can create a unique formulation. So this is when we're talking about you developing a supplement that addresses an emerging health condition, or maybe you're combining ingredients in ways that haven't been put together yet. Again, all of this stuff is what I've done with my own brand. For example, with the niches, I served a untapped niche that meant I had no competition, and I was the first and by default the biggest. And of course, I created a unique formula. Number 3 is coming up with some sort of unique delivery system. So I'm talking like moving beyond standard pills or powders and thinking about maybe patches, gummies, sprays, or any other formats that improve absorption or convenience. Again, I developed a new product for my own brand, which is a greens product in a can to replace kids struggling with not eating their fruit and vegetables. Again, it's unique, it has a strategic point of differentiation, and we're competing in a space where we have no one else in there, which makes us, again, the first and the only, and by default the best as well. This is something you can draw inspiration from. Number 4 is maybe transparent sourcing, so emphasizing maybe you have ethical sourcing, sustainability, or maybe just higher quality ingredients than your competition. And number 5, having and leading with an educational approach. Now this is massive because you really want it to become trusted knowledge source as opposed to just someone selling a product. For example, with my own brand, again, I'll link this back, we run strategic partnerships with coaches and nutritionists and Premier League football clubs. Again, like, no one's competing on us with this. We lead with education, we educate them on nutrition, the importance, how to do it, how to build it into their day-to-day, and it's a bit of an indirect sell and pitch for your product, and this is a massive one. Again, with supplements, you need to lead with education because this is something people are putting in their body. It's a consumable, and they want to know, what is it, how does it work, what are the ingredients, why are they in there, why are they in specific proportions. So you have more to talk about basically, and educating customers as opposed to going straight for the sale is massive. Number 6 is direct connection. So this is if you can build a community around your brand through maybe support groups or specialized content. Again, for my own brand, we have a parents community where they're able to talk and interact and knowledge share. Again, this is separating you from the competition. It's brand building activities to get people talking, and it brings them all together. Number 7, and this one's massive, is building in a subscription model with value adds. So you're providing maybe ongoing health monitoring, coaching, or some sort of exclusive content. Again, link it to my own brand. We do one-to-one nutrition servicing. So we work directly with customers if they have problems with their kids and their nutrition. So we hire or outsource nutritionists who will directly work with them. Again, it has nothing to do with our direct product, but it's indirect marketing, and it's a way for you to create that protective moat and brand. This is like huge. So just to summarize that, you want to operate within a niche. You ideally want to have some sort of founder-led mission, a unique delivery method, and just the whole thing just always burns back around to having an obsession over the customer and what they want, what they need, and who they are. This is the best way to do it. So that's how you differentiate yourself. But now, how do we actually do that? Let's break this down step by step. So first and foremost, we obviously want to come up with a brand name. So we're thinking about developing a name. It's memorable, it's easy to spell, it's not product specific, so you're not kind of locked into that domain. Of course, you want the URL, you want the social media handles, so make sure they're all available. Just give a couple examples of good brands, maybe like Bloom, Lyra, they like kind of compound words, Beard brand. So it has some sort of relevance to the product in the market, but it's short. It has that kind of punchy name, and it stands out from the rest. And the shorter the name, the better. When we're looking for domains, always try and go for the .com. If not, maybe the .co is the second one. But again, it just adds that extra layer of consumer confidence. Then we want to move into a logo. And do me a favor, do not spend years, weeks, months, decades building the perfect logo, because guess what? No one cares. It doesn't matter. Keep it simple. Clean word mark is more than enough to get going. It just used the example in the UK of maybe a company like Huel. It is literally Helvetica format, 4 words, Huel. That's it. Super simple, really potent. You don't have to spend months or thousands of dollars making this logo. Just get something out. Remember, we're launching with a minimally viable product, which means it does not have to be perfect. The other side of it is just make sure it's readable at small sizes, and you don't need to go and hire logo designers. Just use someone, like do it yourself on Canva, hire someone on Fiverr. Again, just don't obsess and spend too much time over this, but just make sure it's functional, it looks clean, and it reads well, and ideally it's something that's memorable. When it comes to typography, so this is the font that you're going to make it in, I would say limit to 2 fonts maximum. So a heading font, so this is kind of bold, has a bit of personality, and the body font, simple, readable. And again, don't reinvent the wheel here, just stick to standard Google fonts. Then we look into our colors. I usually recommend you have 3 primary colors, and I'm not talking about using primary colors, I mean just select 3 colors. So you have your primary, which is the dominant brand color, then you have your secondary, which is for the accent, and then you have your background color. So maybe it's a white, for example, something to contrast and make it stand out. Always keep your text color consistent. One thing I see a lot, particularly so on your website, is having a very clear but consistent call to action color. So this is what I call your accent color. I talked about it before, but making sure this really pops and it contrasts, and this is what's going to be attracting and catching attention capturing attention and really leading customers. You're capturing their eye and you're leading them and you're telling them where you want them to go as opposed to them navigating around the site, doing their own thing. In terms of implementing this, what I would recommend is you keep things consistent. Remember, less is more. It doesn't have to be crazy colors, but just make sure across your whole brand ecosystem, so your website, your ads, your packaging, your emails, make sure everything is consistent. This is what really is professionality to your customers. It looks professional. You look like $1 million brand, even though you might just be starting out. And just prioritize looking intentional and cohesive from the start, so not messy. It doesn't want to look like an old Microsoft Paint logo type thing. Keep it professional, keep it short, but make sure everything is consistent. Now, as we order the product, as soon as the product lands, we're going to start marketing it. Now we have the product sorted, we understand the niche, now we have a brand, now it's time to start marketing it. So how are we going to do this? So let's do this sequentially. We've ordered the product. As soon as it lands, we're going to start marketing it. We're not going to wait to have all of this infrastructure in place. We want to validate this as quickly as possible. So for example, even whilst you're waiting for the product to arrive, if you've got samples coming, start generating content, use AI, okay? Do whatever you can within your control to make sure that you can start to create some form of content, because this is the name of the game when we're building an e-com store. When the product arrives, make sure you're taking photos, give it to your friends, start posting organically, just whatever you can to do to get images, because these images are going to proliferate across the whole infrastructure. Same with videos as well. And it doesn't have to be pretty, it doesn't have to be perfect. Good enough to start with is okay. Then we can move on to marketing. And this, let's be honest, this is the fun part. This is where we start making money. And most people really overcomplicate it. So let's just break it down. Here's your first goal. Get traction fast. And that means you don't need to go viral. Like, it doesn't mean you need to kind of shoot up to 100K per month straight away, as nice as that would be. What you need to do to start with and focusing on is just getting the first few people to buy, love the product, and then share it. So here's the checklist that I want you to follow. First and foremost, build your Shopify store whilst the product's on the way. Use free tools to generate content ideas and angles. Post organic content as soon as possible on IG Reels, TikTok. Leverage UGC or record content yourself, particularly so if you're going to be a founder-led brand. Document the journey, show people they like to watch. This is how they can engage, and this is how you can sell or pre-sell before you've even got infrastructure there. Like, build an email list, build a very simple landing page. In terms of content, just leverage as much as possible, because this is what's going to proliferate across your whole ecosystem as soon as you start building it. Once you have it, we're going to use Facebook ads with broad targeting, and we can start with as little as maybe 10 or 20 bucks a day. Then build a simple email flow, your recovery abandoned cart, your post-purchase, etc. And just remember, don't focus on scaling too early. What I want your focus to be on is on converting strangers into buyers. Like, the fastest way to scale is to get profitable at small spend. And once you've got the proof, literally the sky is the limit. Let's bring this all together with some final words. So the truth is, starting a supplement brand in 2025 is easier, it's faster, it's more affordable than ever if you follow the right steps. So here's exactly what you need. Here's a refresher of exactly what you need to do to reach or establish that product market fit. So sourcing, market research, again, we're looking for speed as opposed to quality to start with. Get a supplier, do your own formula design or product design, figure out how you're going to create a strategic point of differentiation, get your label design, your branding done, then start marketing on a very low budget, focus your time on creative, make sure your website is dialed in, and then it's just a case of marketing or creating different marketing angles. But if you skip any of these steps, if you try to shortcut the research or skip the branding or just blow money on ads before you've proven any product, you're going to struggle. And that's exactly what I did. I struggled for years because I didn't know what I was doing. So here's what I want you to do. Rewatch this video, take notes, pick one product, one customer, and one channel, and start today, because this business has literally changed my life. And if you do the work, it will change yours too. Now, notice I didn't mention anything about website or Facebook ads. If you want to learn more, you can click this video here or this video here. And if you want personal help starting and scale your own supplement brand so you can start generating sales in the next 30 days using this same process, click the first link in the description and book a free call with me. On that call, I'll show you exactly what you need to do to apply all of these ideas, bring it together so you can create your own supplement brand. But yeah, don't wait. Let's build something real. Lock it in. Let's go.